Hi, thanks for coming back to me. Okay, I'm going to start out telling a little memory that I just remembered today. Hadn't thought about it in a long, long time, and it should have went probably with my last one or two episodes. Um, when we were all together with the five teenagers in the house before the death, Christmas Eve. It was one year, Christmas Eve, and we had a nice dinner. And after dinner, the kids all wanted to go out and visit their friends. So we said, okay, but we have desserts. So I said, I'll leave the desserts on the table. So when you come home, you can eat your desserts. And that was the plan. So, Mark and I stayed up a little while. And before we went to bed, we put the desserts out. And because it was already getting late, lit the candles on the table. The table was very pretty, fancy tablecloth in the formal dining room and all, and Christmas desserts out on the table. Well, we went to bed. Soon afterwards, we heard the kids come in and they ate and they went to bed. Okay, so hours later, I was sleeping and suddenly I wake up because Mark bursted into the room because he had just put out a fire because the kids had come in and ate their desserts, but nobody thought to blow out the candles on the table. So our table burned, our the tablecloth burned, and the flames went up to the ceiling, so the ceiling was starting to burn around the chandelier over the table. So he, when he came bursting into the room, his whole face, he had a bald head, and his whole face was and head were all black with soot, and he was all out of breath. And I'm like, what happened? And he's like, I just put the fire out all by himself. He put the fire out. Um, anyway, that was a crazy time. So now I'm going to go to after the death, the suicide. I told you I was trying to be very strong, and I think I was for a couple weeks, like 2 or 3 weeks after it all happened. We're in that crummy hotel still, which, by the way, they had a fire there or a false alarm or something, but one time, and it was at night, sprinklers went off, and we had to run outside. Everybody runs outside. They had our room got all wet from the sprinklers. We had to change rooms, but our stuff didn't get damaged. Anyway, we were in that crummy hotel, and one night, 2 or 3 weeks after the death, I'm sorry, I'm gonna sneeze here. Excuse me. Oh, my allergies are terrible. So, um, okay, one night I got drunk 2 or 3 weeks after the funeral, after the death, and you know, I kind of needed that, you could say, after, trying to be so stoic for all that time, um, not thinking of myself, thinking of everybody else, and it was my time to let it out. And I got drunk and I started crying and I went outside. It was nighttime. I went outside in the parking lot by myself. Mark was there in the hotel room. He never saw me drunk like that because I don't get drunk. I would drink my wine, usually no more than 2 glasses, and he never saw me drunk. So outside, I went and sat on the curb in the parking lot, and I was trying to get into his head, the son, the deceased son, trying to get into his head, trying to understand what happened, what he did, why he did it. Um, I hadn't had time to really meditate on any of that stuff because because there was so much going on with so much family and everything. And the time was just so hectic and all. And, I was working and all also. I mean, I'm sure I took a little time off, but anyway, it was my time that I had to let my feelings out, and this was the way I was doing it. It wasn't a good, healthy way to do it, but I got drunk. I'm outside crying on the curb. I may have even been talking to myself. I'm not sure because I don't usually do that, but I think I might have been because I was just so much trying to identify with him. And I'm not recommending anybody to do that if you're in that situation. But um, I, uh, it was too much. You know, um, I was actually having a breakdown, is what was happening. And I came back in the hotel room and, I was just kind of talking stupid and talking about suicide and death and, just talking stupid. And I was going to take a bath. I started up the bathtub and I mentioned something about drowning, um, which wouldn't make any sense. I mean, really in the bathtub. But my poor husband, he was in such distress from, losing his son recently and everything, all the stress and everything. And he couldn't handle it. It was like this was too much for him. He didn't know what to do with me. He couldn't handle it. He never saw me like this before. I was never like this before. And what he did was he called the police. And he called the police. I don't know what he said to them. I didn't hear that part. But all of a sudden, the police were at the door. They took me, they cuffed me behind my back, put me in the back of the police car. And I think he told them that I was a danger to myself or to him. That's probably what he told them, or both, whatever. Because I was just acting crazy, talking stupid. I know that. And so they put me in the back of a police car. That's the first and only time that ever happened to me. It was horrible because they got this plexiglass thing between the front and back seat, right? And it's like right in front of your face. You feel so, closed in, claustrophobic because this glass is right in front of your face there. You could barely move. It got the handcuffs on the back. But they took me to the hospital and to the ER, and they put me in a rubber room. No, that was maybe, I don't know, was that at the police station or at the hospital? I think it was at the hospital. They took me to the hospital. Anyway, there was a rubber room. And they took my cuffs off and put me in that room by myself. And let me tell you, it was the best thing. It was exactly what I needed. What a great thing. I just, I just was crying. I was hysterical and I just started bouncing off the walls. It was exactly what I needed. I was punching the walls, kicking the walls, bouncing off the walls. I just did that exactly what I needed up until I just collapsed from exhaustion. And then they came and took me out. They took me to the mental hospital and checked me in, drugged me up. By then it was late and all, and I went to sleep. The next day, I don't remember too much. They gave me a lot of drugs, um, but they were very nice to me. That part I remember, that everybody was very kind and nice. I never felt scared when I was there. I felt like everybody was being really understanding, uh, very polite to me and all that. So it was not a bad experience. But of course, I didn't want to stay there. I didn't feel like I was a mental case. I was just having my moment that I needed, only um, my husband couldn't handle it. Can't blame him. So I was there like that whole day and probably must have been the next night, I think. So, but basically not much more than 24 hours. And then they told me I kept telling them I wanted to leave. I kept telling them I don't need to be here. I'm fine. I need to go home. And, um, so they told me I could leave. Uh, I think it all happened on a Friday night, and Sunday morning I was ready to go. I felt better, and they said I could leave. And Mark didn't have, any objections to me going back to him. So, but my daughter came with her new boyfriend to pick me up, and I was so drugged up they gave me Haldol, and I was like really dopey, and I mean I could barely talk, and I was drooling because you have like no control over you're just so numb, or I mean I was like slurring my words and drooling. I remember I had no control over my mouth, and she had a new boyfriend. I was so embarrassed, because I don't know if that was the first time I met him. Might have met him before, but we're just getting to know him, and I was really embarrassed. But he was very nice, to be there. He didn't. He just treated me like a normal person. He didn't treat me like there was anything wrong with me or anything. So that was sweet. And I remember they took me out to eat, um, and I couldn't talk. I'm drooling, having a hard time eating and everything, but the food tasted good because the day before I was eating that hospital food, which wasn't that great. So anyway, I had to go after that. I think I might have got on some antidepressant. I think I might have started taking Prozac or something. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But anyway, I was pretty much good after that. I had to get that out of my system. So I want to tell you all about that. And I think I might leave it at that for now because this was a big one for me to do. Okay. See you next time.